Welcome to Bear All. I'm Carol Gockel, confidence coach and change maker. In this show, we are having all our guests here to be real and raw with us because we believe by being authentic, by being real and raw, we are actually inspiring other people, and we are also want to use this opportunity to be able to support you, the audience. And together with me, my co-host, Dr. Martha Farali. Martha, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thanks, Carol. So I'm very happy to co-host Back All with Carol. She's a good friend, a good new friend, and she's a confidence coach. So I am a relationship counselor, clinical sexologist. You can find me at eroscoaching.com.
Thank you, Martha. And you can actually reach me at www.carolgockel.com as well. And today, our guest is actually a very, very special personality. She's an author, a speaker, and a woman who wears many, many hats. Her name is Felicia, Miss Felicia Tan. And because Felicia is a very close friend of Dr. Martha Lee, and also, Dr. Martha will be leading most of the questions. And let's join our hands together to welcome our special guest today, Felicia Tan. Hi, Felicia.
Hello, I'm Felicia. Hi.
Okay,
Hi,
Felicia, tell us about yourself. Self-intro first before I ask any questions.
Okay, sure. I'm Felicia Tan. I'm the author and speaker of Art of Life Circles. I also have a boy turning 5 years old soon. So I does graphic and web design services for the past 14, 15 years now. Yes.
Okay, Felicia, why do you think we are interviewing you? You have to share your backstory. What makes you special?
Okay, of course, the journey back then when I first started in 2005, my plan was actually to start a business and to have flexible hours so that in time to come when I have my child, I can take care of my child on my own. But having said so, fast forward 6 years later, it didn't happen, and instead I end up in miscarriages. So I miscarried the first time round in 2011, and that's where I first lost my first boy, Dominic Low. And subsequently, when I went through the journey, I conceived again, and this time a twins. But again, I lost them in 2012. So that's my journey. But having said so, what are the challenges that I faced throughout the journey is never easy and obviously bittersweet. And that's why I took it upon myself to share it with other people so that to let people know that there is also hope at the end of the day. And it is really what you want and what you hope to achieve in your own personal life, not just the work life as well.
Anything else you want to share, Felicia?
For me, of course, what I learned throughout this journey is also there's also the question is being true to yourself. Because after your miscarriages, the question people always ask me is, do you still want to try? Why do you still want to try? And how are you sure? How sure you are that you will make it work this time? The truth is we don't have the answer back then. But the question is, I'm very sure is in time to come, I will have my own kids in time to come. But the question is, when is it going to happen? I don't know. All I know is I prep myself, be it physically, mentally, and emotionally, so that I know I'm ready when the time comes, and I am glad that I'm able to embrace it peacefully, nicely in that sense.
Yes. So I got to know Felicia before she got her boy. And at the time that I met you, the reason why I reached out to you was because I knew you wrote books around your miscarriages, and I wanted to feature your books. And it turned out that we live very near to each other. So we started to meet up quite a bit. During that time, I was asking you very pointed questions because I have never been pregnant. I don't know what it's like to keep trying for baby. So I remember at that time, after your second miscarriage of the twins, I asked you, is it really that important to have your own biological child? Like, why don't you just adopt? Do you remember? So can you answer to that, Felicia?
I think a lot of people have asked that question, not just yourself. The truth is also what makes you unique and what makes your child unique is really the bond. Of course, yes, you can say you can have adopted children, but the link and the bond, the resemblance may or may not be there for adopted child, but it's definitely there in your own biological child. And that's what very evidently today, as well as I look through my boy, it's like it's just a splitting image of my husband. Everybody says he's like the small chop, rubber chop, stem chop of my husband. And of course, his personalities. When it comes to his personality, people say he's very talkative for his age, blah blah. And then where does it come from? So I just keep quiet, thinking, it's not me, the kind of thing. But yeah, we all know that he embraced a certain part of each one of us, each husband and wife, which is very nicely packaged. So he's a the finished product and it's a very nice package of us hopefully embracing all the pros, all the good benefits from us. But it's nice to see a little one living in you, living in them, and you see the living resemblance of us when we are young, when we are small. And that's where you wonder, you know. So that's, I think that's the miracle. That's a miracle and that's the wonder of having a biological child, that you see the little parts of you living in them and through them, which makes it very amazing.
Yeah, I at that time I remember you were so determined to have your child. You went through a lot of painful procedure. So I remember from reading your books. Okay, so with the first miscarriage, you had one book. With the second miscarriage of the twins, you had another book. So when you had these books and you went through these procedures, the third child is as IVF. Maybe you can share a bit about the medical procedures that you went through.
Okay, the first and second, which ended up with miscarriage, is IVF, but the third one, which is the rainbow baby now, is actually natural conceived. So after the two miscarriage, I took 2 years, 2 years of a break to finally conceive him. So what really triggers is the question mark as well, because the first time I went through the IVF, people were saying, "Hey, you are, medically fertile." So the question is, how do you justify medically fertile? Because the first time I went through IVF and I conceived. So, but having said so, why it doesn't explain why I end up in miscarriage subsequently. And then, of course, when I had my second pregnancy, which, yes, we put two embryos and I conceived with two and I had twins. So in that sense, it seems like physically I'm okay, but why didn't I conceive naturally? That's the question mark. So having said so, after the two miscarriages, I went to, of course, take a break. I exercise, I adopt healthier lifestyles. I do whatever that I can to be the best version, so-called the best physical body, mental body that I can before I started trying again. And likewise, I'm thankful because of the books that I published. A lot of people share with me their TCMs, share with me with their high-risk gynaes, which in that sense helped me. So instead of me Googling and trying to find out who do I look for to help in my situation, now I have people shortlisting. I have a name of 10 people shortlisted gynaes to look through. I think it's definitely better than the a few thousand lists that you have through Google. So they help me shortlist a 10 list, which helps me easier as well to go through who to look for, and after not spending too much money, because every gynae you see, you have to pay a certain consultation fee, do a certain checks and whatever not. You can't run through the whole 10 or even 30 lists to go through. So it helps streamline the process. And I was thankful for that, because my goal, my aim back then of writing a book is actually just to cope with my grief, to honor my children, to say that I was actually a mom. I had children, I had delivered them. In fact, all three of them are delivered alive. They were born alive, but of course they were too premature to survive. So having said so, the question is, of course, in my mind is, am I considered a mom? So after the books, it is sort of like a affirmation for myself as well, to say, hey, I'm also a mom. I had delivered them naturally and they were born alive. It's just that they were too premature to survive. So that's the questions that and also the doubt that I wanted to confirm or reassure myself. But having said so, it has the positive effects that I came through the books that I sold, and through the readers who had read, that suddenly told me, hey, I had similar experience. I share, I resonate with you. I agree with this, agree with that, and so on and so forth. And they share with me. That's where they open up and share with me on their TCM and high risk gynae. In fact, some wrote like 1,000 words of it, words in the email. I was like, oh, this is a very long story. But having said so, yeah, I'm glad that they open up and they share. So my book became a talking point. So instead of they sharing about their own story, they can share, oh, it's Felicia's story. I read this story about Felicia. So it became that kind of topic for them to open, and it seems like less intimidating and less taboo and easier to approach.
Mm.
So people won't feel intimidated that, hey, yes, are you saying me that I have fertility issue? Are you talking about me, the kind of thing? I said, no, 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 we are talking about this book. So nothing to do with you in that sense. So it feels less threatened as well. And in this journey which I walk through now, I've seen a lot of people still struggling with this same issue because it's in a sense a never ongoing, is a forever ongoing topic that we can't really say it will end, or we hope to put to an end, but you never know lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Felicia, thank you so for sharing so much, because I can actually relate. I'm a mom myself. I have two kids, a girl and a boy. I mean, they were conceived naturally, but for my firstborn, being a first-time mom, I I I I was breastfeeding and I couldn't, breastfeed my daughter properly. And during the first week, she had this incident where she stopped breathing and nearly died. So, when you shared about your how your you delivered your children, and then having this heartache, and I really couldn't imagine what kind of feelings that you have to be going through at that time. I'm just wondering, by having, when you mentioned that when you author your books, it's actually a way of managing your grief. But have you ever thought about, when you're doing, by sharing your story, you're also helping other people to manage their grief as well?
Back then, obviously, I didn't think that big. It's all about me and my grief, to honor my child and whatever not. So it's only upon after publishing the books that I was forced to, in a way, sell the books, because now I have 1,000 books a day in my house. What should I do? So I have to share with my friends and whatever, email them. And that's why I'm forced to open up and share the story. Then I realized actually a lot of friends around me may have friends who are having this same situation as well. It's just that they didn't say, because nobody says. So nobody starts, nobody says. So when I first started with the book, then everybody starts talking about it. So you sort of open up the channel for them to talk about it and to share about it. And it becomes a easier approach to other friends also who probably are suffering from fertility issues, but they don't know how to approach. So now they just hand them a book and say, hey, probably you might want to read this book and that kind of thing. So it became an easier way for them to touch on the sensitive topic too.
Yeah, I mean, and I really appreciate and applaud you for being the first person to advocate that, and to be this voice, to be able to share. Because I know, I don't know you personally prior to this, but I actually know your work, about Angel Hearts. And I was added on to the Facebook group because one of my girlfriend actually lost her unborn child, and I wanted to be able to support her. I didn't know how to go about doing it. And I was glad that you have this platform that I can go out and I ask questions. How do I support, my friend who has actually gone through this devastating issue during her life? And there was a barrage of a lot of support and information on how I can actually support a friend. And would you share with us a little bit more about what Angel Heart is and what it does?
Okay, what Angel Heart does is actually to repurpose what we call wedding gowns to small angel gowns for the baby who passed away in hospitals. So mainly these gowns, angel gowns, are given free to hospital, and in turn, the hospital can give to the bereaved. And the issue why is also we give freely is because we don't want them to incur costs subsequently already. Because by miscarriaging in hospital, they already have bills to pay and whatever not. So all the more we don't want to incur additional cost to them. So that's why we are giving freely to them so that they can in turn pass down to the bereaved who are suffering. And more so is also because the baby who were born prematurely, they are too small to fit into our normal newborn clothing. So whatever newborn clothing that you have can't fit in. And that's why the angel gowns are specifically tailored to that size, the whichever week, gestational weeks that they could have. And based on that various sizes, we have the various sizes angel gowns for them.
Yeah, and because of coming across your Angel Hearts group on Facebook, I was able to actually to donate my gown as well, because I was just one of those people who have a wedding gown, like, hey, I want to have my own wedding gown, I want to buy it. Then after that, how am I supposed to do with it? And I was glad that my gown was actually put to good use. And this is such an amazing platform and an amazing support group that you have given the world. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to add that when Felicia told me about this organization, Angel Hearts, it was really very difficult for me to understand, because you take something that is for a happy occasion, for something that is one of the possibly saddest moments of a person's life, and the amount of effort that you have taken to recruit these volunteers, to sew the gowns for you, to make contact with the hospitals. It is truly one of the most thankless charitable initiatives that anybody can think of. Like, this is so hard. And I was like, okay, like, is it like even possible for your organization to survive? So can you share more about the fundraising efforts and how your organization is going?
For us, what we do is we actually sell handmade products for fleet. So that's where we sell the handmade products, and also all the returns goes back to Angel Hearts. And likewise, we this year we wanted to start the CSR workshops with corporates, so that together there is both efforts, not just on fleas and with individuals, but as in on corporately as well. We can talk to at least a group of staff and a group of people to help share the awareness, and also to create the fundraising efforts, to amplify the fundraising efforts as well.
Yeah, but I still think it's a very, very, very thankless thing that you are doing. So how many volunteers do you have?
Right now we have about 140 or 150 people plus minus. So there's always a influx of people coming in. There's also people who are leaving. So it really depends on what kind of activities we are hosting or conducting, and people will just come and go lah for volunteers.
Yeah, it's really not easy, because sometimes people help for a season and we go through life changes. So one of the things that I want to bring us back to is, just now when we started, I asked you to self-introduce, and you said the reason why you are being featured is because of your personal life and your journey with your kids. So you mentioned the word miscarriage. And actually, when I first met you, I also thought like it's miscarriage, no big deal. But like you just shared, is it really a miscarriage because they were born prematurely? That those were actually live births. It's just that they couldn't survive. So it's really a terrible thing to actually have to keep bringing up your stories again and again because of your books, to be put as a role model public figure, and then to relive it again and again, sharing these stories. So I'm just wanting to ask you, like, how does it feel to keep having to use the word miscarriage? Because this is what people understand. And in fact, you were the one who actually told me that it's not the right word, but you have to use this word because this is what people understand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sadly, yeah, it's a very harsh word for us to use the word miscarriage. But having said so, that's the word that people understand. So yeah, like what you share, because like all my babies were born alive, but they couldn't survive. So as a mom looking at them and they couldn't survive hurts. So the question is also, what puts me through again and again? Because just like writing the book and sharing the stories, you have to relive the moment again and again. So the question is, what gave me the motivations, or what gave me even the courage to share again and again? It's not because um it's nice to be in the camera, or it's nice to be in front of TV. If I'm in front of a TV because I'm a millionaire, of course I don't mind. But I'm in front of a TV because of such a sensitive topic. It's nothing, frankly, it's nothing to be glamorous about. But the question, what I see is also, how should people learn from this episode? Because not just miscarriage, you probably suffer depression, you probably suffer from divorce, you probably had a spouse who passed away, you probably have a lot all these big stages or moment milestones in your life. The question is, when you are there, you thought you are at the end of the day, this is your last day. you're at the bottom pit. What are you going to do next? There's no hope, no goal for you to look forward to. But the question is really what you want at the end of the day. What do you look forward when you wake up the next day? What do you hope to still believe in? So for my case is when I was stressing during that 2 years, I was contented. My younger sis actually had two children by then. I was very contented every weekend to visit her house, playing with my niece and nephew. So I thought that was my life. That's it. Okay, I'm happy playing with other people's children, so to speak. It's nice as well because they are my niece and nephew anyway. So, but having said so, there's still a burning desire. I think I still can do it. Why not try again? The question is, why do I stop? So who is telling you to stop? Actually, there's nobody telling you to stop. There's nobody telling you what to do as well. But the question is, what makes you the difference is what you want out of your own life, which I believe I still can, which I still can try. I think I can be a good mother, or at least I try to be one. So that's where I realized it is still what I want at the end of the day, which I wanted to still try until I think that, yeah, there's a time to stop. Thankfully, the time wasn't there yet back then. So I was thankful then I conceived and I had my rainbow baby.
Yeah. I mean, from what I actually hear you is, I feel that you have to go through all this pain twice so that you can carry your message and serve a higher purpose. Do you feel the same?
Having now passed that bridge here, so to speak, and now I'm a mom, I was thankful of the moments and I obviously appreciate my child better. And of course, there are little moments whereby people say, you're so busy, where got time with children? That's where I will take a back step to look at myself as well. Have I been so busy working that I don't spend time with my child and whatever? So there's always the pit stop that you check yourself as well. And also you evaluate as well. Do you have a work-life balance? Who is more important? Is it the work or your child? That's where I evaluate after all these processes that I realize, you learn to appreciate what is it that you want out of your life, because after all, it's your life. And of course, people can always tell you if you were to lose your job today, frankly, the boss can easily replace you with someone else, and even with a lower pay. So then the question is, who should you be working hard for?
Yeah, true. And just thinking back that you had to go through so much, the IVF and everything, must be a lot of money that was spent, right, in doing that. So, when you found out that you, I guess for the lack of better word, you lost your child, and in fact lost your children twice. How did you feel at that time? Are you able to describe what went through your mind?
Of course, after the two miscarriage, the obvious question is, what was the main root cause? What was the sign that I had overlooked? And there's more guilt in me because you are wondering, did you not prep yourself properly in the second pregnancy? That's why you end up in miscarriages and whatever not. So there's also the question of doubt. Will you ever be a mom? When will that day happen? So there's all these question marks, and you feel like, is there ever a day, you will be called mom, so to speak, and will that day even happen? So there's this questions that's always circling in my head. So then the question is, what else do you want to do besides all this, you see? So with all these questions still spinning in my head, I decided, okay, fine, let's just take a break. Let's stop asking about will it happen, when will it happen, whatsoever, and just take a break for everything. Learn to appreciate life as life it is. Be appreciating the sceneries, the cars, the flowers, the whatever not. So I like driving, so I drive. So I just drive on the road, drive for nothing in a way. Of course, my husband complained I waste petrol. But I was just driving and listening to music, the music that I like, enjoying the scenery, the views. Then I asked myself, okay, what is it that I want out of my life now at this situation, this scenario that I'm in? Now that, okay, I don't have children, yes, I can spend time with myself. I have a lot of free time. Okay, what should I do? So we went for holidays as well during this time. We learned to appreciate the two of us being together because after all, no children, so you can anytime just take leave, pack and go. So we did what we did. We went for our holidays, we went for our breaks and whatever not. And thankfully, we have a lot of the time, couple time together. And subsequently, when the child comes, then you realize not so free, no time for even to sit down for a meal properly in that sense. But we were happy because we were happy that we had done that first before. And now, yes, we have time with children. Of course, the couple times also have to come in as well.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize a little bit what you have just shared again, because Martha likes to summarize. This is an occupational hazard. Okay, so what happened in your personal life, in your marriage, is you guys were married for 6 years before you got pregnant, and that was naturally. And then you got Dominic, and then Dominic was born prematurely. Then after that, you guys tried IVF, and the twins were also born prematurely. And then, is that right? Your first and second?
First and second is IVF.
IVF. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember that it's painful and difficult and all these things. So of course, Singaporeans being Singaporeans, you spend a lot of money. So can you share with us how much?
Wow, the ball, okay, even just for the IVF is easily 20,000 just for a start. And having said so, if it be fail or pass successful IVF, then you need to go through X number of rounds again. So for my case is easily 40,000-50,000 just on IVF alone. And of course, for our case is because we had our babies as well. So we had cremations, we have niche, and that's easily 4,000-5,000 off again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so everything all in all was 40-50K. That's a lot of money. Can I ask, because I'm sure people watching this are curious, what is the reason that they were born prematurely? Do you know?
Frankly, we don't really know. It was suspected to be a medical condition called cervix incompetence, CI or IC in short. So what it does is the cervix is supposed to be kept closed till you are near delivery. But for my case, it seems to dilate earlier, and therefore the baby were born alive lah. But having said so, is that really the root cause? Is still very much a question mark for my case. Reason being because on my natural pregnancy, we didn't have the procedure what we call a cervix clutch to sew the cervix to hold it. Um, Due to the initial checks that we have, it is suspected that I might have a bacteria that causes it as well. But the bacteria is a normal bacteria that is just hormonal change and it will trigger. But having said so, when it is during pregnancy stages, when it triggers, it might cause the cervix to dilate earlier than what is necessary. So then the question is that really the root cause? We will know. It could be a combination due to the few factors that triggers it.
Yeah. Now hearing what you describe, it seems very distant and it's hard for me to connect. But at the same time, I also feel this heartache that you are that's coming through as well. Can you tell us how you describe how you felt when you saw the motionless body of your child, of your children rather?
Okay, frankly, when I was there lying on the bed and looking at the babies, you are definitely crying your heart out because they are there on my chest and I couldn't do anything about it. And looking at my husband or looking at the gynae, they also cannot say anything because at the weeks, the gestational week that they are in is too young to survive. We know because for the twins it's at 21 weeks. To be even viable is at least 34 weeks. So we know we are too far off. So yeah, just looking at it helplessly, looking at them helplessly, but couldn't do anything. So that's where when you question, so what is life? Why is it our medical technology are not that advanced yet? What's the question? What's the root cause? Why we never done enough? Why we never check enough? Stuff like that. There's all these questions that come in. But the question is, after even if you ask all the questions, it doesn't help solve the problem. The truth is, here you are with your children and they are not living or they are dying. So it's just really embracing them doing what we can. In our case, is we did took photograph, we plan for be it cremations or we plan for whatever necessary. And of course, there is the medical procedures that comes after all the documents and whatever. But back then, we wasn't ready to look through all this. We just want to spend time and moments with the baby till they really pass on.
So I'm crying already. So I just want to say that, do you remember there were so many things that I learned from you, Felicia? I want to cry. Um, but when I first connected to you, it was because of your book and your courage. And okay, this famous person I must meet. And the second time I met you, I was interviewing you about your books, and that was when you shared with me that you were pregnant, and I was so worried for you. And it was only when my mom passed away 2 years ago and you came for the funeral that I really understood what grief meant. Because I never had anybody close to me die. So even when I was reading your books and I spoke with you, I still didn't really understand the extent of grief. So I can only imagine, because I really cannot, I'm not you. I didn't get pregnant. I never had a premature baby. I don't know what it feels like. So I just really want to thank you for everything that you have done and shared with people.
Okay, yeah, I'm thankful also for touching base after quite a while. Yeah, because we are friends, but of course we lost touch for a while, and then subsequently we reconnect back and whatever not. So it's really not easy, because to explain to people and to tell them, hey, we grieve. People say you should forget about it lah. It's already past, in the past. Now you have your boy, move on, move forward. Yeah, yeah, I am moving on, but that doesn't make me forget the ones that I lost. You get what I mean? Just like you lost your mom, are you going to forget your mom? No way, you see. But that's what, because people don't understand, and we don't expect them to understand, and in fact we hope they don't need to understand, because that means they don't need to go through. So because the moment you start to understand is because you probably gone through some of your own grief as well. So that's the idea as well. So sometimes it's really, if you understand, it's good. We smile, we look at each other, we had a tap on the shoulder, it's good enough, because we know. But if you don't understand, we are happy, because you don't have to go through, and you didn't go through, and that's what we are happy for you too.
Well, Felicia, I have to say that I really applaud you and appreciate for you that you share so openly. I had tears in my eyes, and when you say that, I said a kind of a chain reaction. Brought me back to the time where my child was rushed to the hospital because she wasn't breathing, and I felt for that moment I was connecting with all those moms. But then, of course, my story is a happy ending, and for a lot of the parents aren't. And even though right now that you're living your life and you have a rainbow baby after that episodes, I'm wondering whether if there's any triggers further down the road, even right now, when you hear about a story, or when you look at certain items, does it trigger you in terms of like getting the memories that bring you back to the point, and
Yes,
how do you overcome it?
yes, of course, there's always triggers coming along, because there's always people asking you, is this your firstborn? Does he have siblings and whatever not? So at the back, you wanted to say yes, or you want to say no. So that's where the simple questions, or people say, try one more lah, get a girl, then you 好字. So it's like, wow, easy said than sound. You don't know what have I gone through, that kind of thing. So there's all these moments that you are prepped in, even in just sitting in the grab car, simply people will ask you, you have children? Are you married? That kind of thing. To them, to Singapore context, it's either food or are you single, married, or with children? These three topics. So it's such a easy common topic that you just get asked either way or the other. So if you are married, you answer married, then they will ask you got kids or not. So it's like it's so natural. So there's always the constant trigger in that sense, whereby you are being reminded again and again. But of course, it is also, I take it as a positive reflection as well, to let me remind myself to appreciate today's life, today's progress or happening. Even though today is a bad day or it didn't go well, there's still tomorrow. You wake up, it's still a clean, fresh day. And that's what I learned, especially from my son. If today he's cranky, I just know that tomorrow it will all go away and we will start again, you know. So it's very promising in that sense, because it's just going to be this day and it will end, and tomorrow is still a brand new day. So reminds me constantly in that sense also. Yeah, there is the past episodes, but having said so, now I'm living in my happy moments, and there's more happy moments, more memories to be created in the future. So it looks bright in that sense. You see my background, very bright also. So it looks bright and positive in that sense as well. Yes, of course, there will be gloomy days, there will be rainy days, but we also know that after the gloomy, raining day, there will comes the rainbow, there will come the sunlight also. So it's not end of the day or end of the world kind. There's still a hope, a chance, as long as you keep trying or you keep working on yourself, working on the surrounding to help yourself. I think you will achieve whatever goals that you have set to achieve for yourself.
True, true. Very, very well said. And since that you brought in the topic, because I was wanting to ask you, you see, what is this Art of Life Circle? Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah. Art of Life is my company name that I created because it really resonate with me in the sense of what is it Art of the Life lah. So what does Art of Life means to you, and what Art of Life means to me? Because different people have different goals, different objectives in their own life. So your life, your so-called best perfect life to you and to me is different. So it's actually an art of achieving it as well. Just like people say, you can grow old, but you might not gain wisdom. You probably gain knowledge, but you probably not wisdom. So then the question is, what is this art in learning to live your life in that sense as a journey, be it to live as a legacy, be it to live down your wealth to the next generations or to whatsoever. So how do you achieve your own art in your own life, perfecting your own life, that you want to achieve the life, that the quality that you want. So it give a very, in a way, like open-ended topic for people, and it sort of triggers as well, trigger talking points, that why does it triggers you, or why does it triggers me, and therefore we can connect and communicate.
Yeah, it's very deep, this art of life. Recently, I did a workshop called The Art of Unserious Sex. That's another topic. But it really got me to meditate on the word art, because art is very subjective and art is not science. So when we think of art, we think of heart. And we think of it as something that is not very concrete, but something that also we constantly try to master. So when you were sharing, I actually really started to appreciate Art of Life. Okay, so Art of Life, because I know Felicia, so I can summarize a bit. So Art of Life is the movement, the circle that you created because of your books. So that's your way to reach out to people. And then you have Angel Hearts that provides gowns for premature, so as to support families going through bereavement, because of course nobody would think of preparing such a thing. And then the other thing that you do is you are a graphic designer. So you also do other things, I know, but maybe you can talk a little bit about that work as well.
Yeah, it started when I was doing my graphic and web design services, that subsequently I had my own blog as well. To actually, that back then was to plan to write my parenting or motherhood journey, but apparently it didn't happen. Instead, the miscarriage happened. And because being me myself, I'm a graphic designer, and printing line is just my industry, so it became natural for me to publish a book, because I am always trying to tell people, hey, you should print your brochure, print your flyers. Then when the story happened, the biggest story happened to me, is like, I'm not printing a book. I'm doing myself a disservice in the sense. And likewise, it's also because I wanted to honor him in concrete hard copy. So I decided, okay, that's the project that I gave myself, the mission that I gave myself to do the book project. And true enough, yeah, I worked through my own book layout, book design, just to save cost, crying don't know how many times behind the monitor screen. And then I asked myself, why am I doing this to myself? Like, losing the child is really the biggest thing, and now I'm trying to write my own story, my own book, and then trying to cry myself. Is that am I driving myself nuts, that kind of thing? So, but I pushed through, because I set myself a project, so I will tell myself I have to do it. So I pushed through, I cried through. I probably written some nonsensible words as well. But I'm thankful for the team that helped supported me, and also editors who helped put it in logical flow to help the book read fluently as well. And also, yeah, I had to read through easily 10, 20 times just to have the book published, edited, and whatever not. It is really a challenging journey, which I don't know why I put myself through, but I was thankful that I went through that, and I deal a lot in terms of the heart issue, the emotional issues, and asking myself why I want to do that. Is it really what I want, or is it for what purpose? It's not something nice to publish online or to go on media. So what is it that I want? So there's a lot of questions asked upon myself, and what do I want to have it, for what reasons. And because my goal in that point was very sure, I just wanted a book for him in honor. That's it, full stop. So to me, it's very sure, and it's a strong enough goal for me to push forward.
Yeah. So, what is next for you now? How is your family and your child?
Well, he's turning 5 next week. So I'm very happy that we phase 2 circuit breaker, we can go out. Yay! So yeah, he's looking forward to it as well. So I'm telling the childcare next week, one of the day he's not coming to school, that kind of thing. So we are thankful that we can go out and enjoy the little moment. With 5 years old, they don't really understand why COVID, I can't go out, how long is it going to take, and whatever not. So we are happy that we can go out and enjoy family time together. And likewise, yes, moving forward, we hope in time to come we can do more programs or speaking engagements to share with people. There's always hope, just like after the rain, there's always rainbow. To share with them, there is always different opportunities and different goals in life that you can look forward to. There's always the saying that when one door closes, another door opens. You see, you just really have to take the time, the moments to look and see and find your door. You see.
Yes. So thank you so much, Felicia, for coming on today. I just want to, again, Mata style, summarize what you have just shared. So you have shared with us your journey from losing your 3 babies to now having a 5-year-old son, and the work that you did, the 3 books that you produced, that is also the legacy of your life. And now you have Angel Hearts, you have Art of Life, and you continue to do your publishing work. Also, the thing that maybe a lot of people don't know is that because of your books, like you mentioned, a lot of people reach out to you, a lot of people also provided you with resources, but actually you continue to support people that is above and beyond anything that anybody needs to do. But you do this and you have become an advocate. The media features you quite a bit. So thank you for coming on, sharing again and again and again your stories. It's not easy. It's just like taking a band-aid and just ripping it apart again and again, including what you just shared with the writing process. So yeah, I really want to applaud you, and your sharing today has made me realize again how much you are so worthy of love, and how much I love you. It makes me fall in love with you again. So thank you for being in my life and being my friend. So I'll pass over to Carol.
Thank you, Martha, for the summary. For me, all I can say, my biggest takeaway is that that by hearing your story, by your sharing, that rainbow only comes after the rain. And from young, I always believe that I was in fact made to believe that there's a bucket of gold at the end of the rainbow. So what you have shared actually shared hope, and I see a hope, and you're also bringing hope to other people. I really appreciate and thankful that I have the opportunity to be able to speak to you, to be able to interview you today. So Felicia, would you share with us how we can get in touch with you, how the audience can get in touch with you?
Okay, sure. My website is www.artoflifecircle.com. So you can connect with me through there, or of course you can join, like me on Facebook as well, or even on LinkedIn. You can search me like Felicia Tan 22, and you can find me and add me as your friend as well. We can connect together again, and of course to share more.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.